What is up, my good people? Here inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you. I keep saying it, but I picked the right music for that because I always move in the studio when I hear it. So I hope you all are having a great day. Happy Monday and happy July 10th as we walk into this week. We got a lot of things going on in the baseball world. GG cards and breaks. We're going to be talking about some sports cards, and I bought 2 packs from GG Cards and Breaks, and I did my pack opening, my pack break, so to speak. And I had aired that video when I announced my partnership with GG Cards and Breaks. I'm going to show a few of those cards because I got some really cool things inside of the first 2 packs I ever bought at GG Cards and Breaks. So on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Then in hour number 2, after we speak with Murph and DT and Murphy, which starts off your week every single Monday on Wake Up Call between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Murph and I will be talking about Major League Baseball, the Swingman Classic for the HBCU, as well as Celebrity Softball, Futures Game, the MLB Draft, Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. A lot of great stuff coming up, a lot of festivities involved. And we'll talk about Murph's experience in his sports card show that he just went to over this weekend. And then in hour number 2, we'll do what we always do on a Monday in our partnership with Alfred University and the Saxons. The Saxons Spotlight comes to you every Monday exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Alfred University Saxons. And I'm very excited that today I will be bringing you my conversation with the leader of their athletic department. That's Deb Steward, who is the Associate Vice President for Student Experience, Athletics, and Recreation. So, with that being said, let's bring Murph in here, picture in picture, to get things started on Wake Up Call. Murph, how we doing today?
Doing good, doing good. It was a fun day yesterday. I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but
Yeah.
got to watch the draft last night, and obviously we're going to talk about that too. So it was a definitely a fun-filled Sunday.
Now, let's get into the draft because neither one of us is surprised, right? We talked about who we thought the number 1 pick could be, and we were right there with it. So we see the number 1 pick go down, and we also, we see what happens overall for, this first round of the draft, and then moving forward from there into round number 2, and as the draft continues. Now, for the people that don't know, this draft is a long thing. It's not something that...
Not as long as it used to be, though.
No, but something that goes on. No, before, in the past, the draft was like, it felt like it was like a month. And, but now we get to see this draft really turn into something special for these guys. And what I'm excited about is, the way that Major League Baseball does it, and that's really where we could start, is that you're not just drafted and that's it. You're drafted and you're developed. You're drafted and you're going, no matter how good you are, you're going through the process. And that's what I really love about Major League Baseball, is that you get drafted and then you get humbled, like immediately. And so I'd love for you to give some thoughts on the draft and, how Major League Baseball works this thing, that once you get drafted, you're going through the minor league system and you're working your way to the top. No matter when you were drafted, how great you are. We've seen the Strasburgs and the Harpers and so on and so forth go through it. Just what you think about the process in Major League Baseball.
I think Major League Baseball's process with the draft is interesting. It is the one league in sports where there is minor leagues. Now, you have that in hockey. But what I will say in hockey that I do like is that those guys can get drafted and then continue to play in college.
Yeah.
That's something I think Major League Baseball could consider doing, but I think it'd be a little too complicated. Hockey, it's, you don't have to worry about, ABs for hitters. You don't need to worry about innings limits for pitchers.
Yeah.
Hockey, it's a little bit easier. But with baseball, guys can be drafted and they may not sign. If you look back a couple of years ago, the Mets took Kumar Rocker with the 10th overall pick and did not sign him after seeing some injury issues. Sure enough, he ended up having Tommy John surgery this year, and he's going to be out until 2024.
Yeah.
So the other crazy stat about this is some of these guys that were drafted last night in the first round, you may never see them on a major league field.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I mean, it's entirely possible that Paul Skeens never sees a major league mound. Now, I think that's very unlikely. I do think he will be a major leaguer in short order. I think he could probably be in the Pirates rotation right now, and they'd be better off for it. But it's possible.
Yeah.
It very much is possible. Now, the Paul Skeens pick was interesting because all week leading up to the draft, there were question marks as to whether or not Skeens and Cruz wanted to go to Pittsburgh or would let Pittsburgh take them. So there was a lot of momentum spewing up for Max Clark, the high schooler from Indiana, and Wyatt Langford out of Florida. There was a lot of heat for those two guys going number one. And then the Pirates basically shocked the world and took Paul Skeens number one, who realistically any other year would have been a slam dunk number one pick. But this year, with the amount of talent that they had between Skeens, Cruz, Langford, and Max Clark, any one of those guys could go number one. So Skeens eventually goes number one to the Pirates. The Pirates do a pretty good job of developing pitching. They've done well with that in recent years, especially with a guy like Mitch Keller and Roansy Contreras. And it's going to be fun to watch them and watch Skeens with them. I would not at all be shocked to see him in the big leagues by the end of this year, if not early next season. He's got top-of-the-line stuff right now.
Yeah.
He can easily be in that Pirates rotation right away. Now, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, moving down the draft, there were some other interesting landing spots for guys, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, no, and let's definitely get into it because LSU obviously at the top of this draft and seeing multiple players go from Louisiana State University. And, you know, we talked about LSU, we talked about Florida, we talked about the SEC, you know, Vanderbilt has a pick here in the first round. And so, you know, we get to see that continuation of the SEC prowess inside of the MLB draft. And so I'd love to keep going with that because, you know, this draft featured a bunch of those guys that we just saw in the College World Series between LSU and Florida. And, you know, once you're drafted, like you said, once you're drafted, you might never be in the majors or you could be in the majors this year. And that, you know, that's the cool part of this, right? You get drafted in the NBA, you wait till next season. You get drafted in the NFL, you wait till the next season. You know, NHL and whatnot. You get drafted in Major League Baseball, and you have an opportunity to play before the end of the season that is currently going on. You're drafted at the midpoint, and if you're that good and they need help and injuries happen and whatever, you know, you can make it out there into Major League Baseball. So, I mean, it's such a unique draft, and it's a unique league because they just do things differently. And this is, you know, that's obviously a part of it is seeing this. Now, the draft is going to go on through Tuesday. So it started yesterday. It goes on through Tuesday. And so we'll have it from the 9th to the 11th. It's not, it was on it was carried on ESPN yesterday. And then it'll be carried on Major League Baseball.mlb.com for today, which starts at 2 o'clock, and Tuesday, which also starts at 2 o'clock. So, you know, looking at this draft and looking at the people that were taken so far, like you said, you wanted to hop into it. And I think we should, you know, jump right into this and get your thoughts on, you know, where we're at right now. So where would you like to go from here?
Honestly, we could just take a run down the list right now. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
If you go down to number 2, you look at Dylan Cruz, a guy who was the consensus number 1 prospect in this draft. And that's saying something because this was a really deep draft class at the top. So anybody who had a lottery pick, and by the way, this was the very, very first year for the MLB Draft lottery, which is kind of interesting and something maybe we could touch on briefly. But any team that had a lottery pick had a chance of getting a future superstar, a legitimate future superstar. Yeah. The top 6 picks, Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon included, all have huge upside. Now, obviously, we start with Dylan Cruz. LSU makes history, first team ever to have their the number 1 and 2 picks in the Major League Baseball draft. It was college heavy at the top for sure, Dylan Cruz, what a stud he is. I mean, he's got 70 grade hitting power. That's ridiculous. And for those that don't know, different stats in baseball and different abilities in baseball are graded on a 20 to 80 scale. 20 being very bad, 80 being absolutely elite. So being a 70 grade hitter and having 70 grade power is unbelievable. He walked more than he struck out this year in the SEC, which is the most dominant conference in college baseball by far. Absolutely by far. And realistically, there were people that were comparing Dylan Cruz as a first overall pick to Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
And I think he forced his way to Washington. I think he told the Pirates, yeah, I'm not coming there. I want $10 million. I want a $10 million signing bonus, and you're not going to give me that, so I'm going to go to Washington. And the Nationals, I'm sure, were more than happy to take Dylan Cruz. I just kind of hope they take Tommy White at some point later in the draft, too, because when Tommy White's in the lineup with Dylan Cruz, things go well. So that was the thing for LSU. Max Clark, who was another guy that we heard rumblings about for the number one pick. He was the top high school player in this draft. Becomes the highest drafted player from the state of Indiana, a Vanderbilt commit, and a lot of scouts comped him to Pete Crow-Armstrong, who was a first-round pick of the Mets just a couple of years ago. And they're also kind of comping him a little bit to Corbin Carroll, who has been an outstanding player for the Diamondbacks this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully this shoulder injury isn't a big deal and he's able to stay on the field. But they were talking last night about him maybe being Corbin Carroll 2.0. Can steal a lot of bases, can play defense, can hit. There's a nice, sweet lefty swing. So that's that was a really interesting one. And going to Detroit, I figured when Skeens and Cruz went 1-2, everyone had to think that Wyatt Langford was going to the Tigers.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, that's a pretty good fit. I would have rather him go to Texas. Well, number 4 overall, the Texas Rangers step in, who are, by the way, having an outstanding year. Wyatt Langford is their pick at number 4. Unbelievable fit. Now, first of all, obviously, you all know I'm a Florida baseball fan, so I love Wyatt Langford. I was really rooting for him to go to a team with a good fit, and I think there could not have been a better fit for him. I did not want him to go to Pittsburgh. I did not want him to go to the Tigers, really. Nationals would have been okay, but the Rangers, I think, were the best fit in top 4, and that's exactly where he ended up. He's got tremendous raw power. He's got a great bat, great bat to ball skills, a pretty good eye at the plate. Sneaky fast too, and he's a great defender. He's a guy that's going to stick in center field for a long time. And I think with him, the Rangers got to get a guy that could legitimately have the highest ceiling of anybody in this draft. Yeah. As good as Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens are, Wyatt Langford I think has the highest ceiling, but also the safest. No, Cruz is probably the safest floor. Langford's probably just behind, but I think Langford's ceiling's a little higher because of the raw power. Because he's got that raw power, he's got that moxie about him that can fire up his teammates, and that's really what he did at Florida. He was a clutch player. I mean, you go back to that first game of the College World Series, that home run he hit in the 8th inning to give the Gators the lead was absolutely huge. Well, actually, no, he tied the game, but was absolutely huge. And it allowed Florida to basically put themselves in position to walk right to the finals without having to sweat, which is exactly what they did.
I want to make.
So I was pumped for that.
I want to make a note here. The Rangers have now selected a player out of college in the first round of the MLB Draft for the 5th straight year. So they've gone college player to the Texas Rangers 5 years in a row in the first round.
It seems like that's the trend more recently. I mean, a lot of high school guys are just so raw.
Yeah.
It's hard to project those guys. The thing with guys coming out of college is they have that 2 or 3 years of extra development. So a pitcher coming out of high school, which we've seen less and less of drafted in the first round recently, a pitcher coming out of high school doesn't have an extra 200 innings on under his belt. He doesn't have, more experience, more durability from having to pitch all those extra innings in college. And that's why I think college pitching, especially, has been so sought after in recent years because these guys have a few more years of experience on them. They have more mileage on their arms already.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can hold guys back with with high school guys, but if you got a college guy throwing 99 who's polished, who's got good command and good stuff versus a high school guy who's throwing 102 that hasn't really had to face any sort of adversity, I would lean college guy. First of all, you get him quicker.
Yeah.
Second of all, honestly, I feel like there'd be less of a chance of some sort of injury. Because again, more wear on the tires usually leads to a better track record. And I'm not saying that, guys in college can't get hurt because they absolutely can. But my thing is, if you take a guy out of high school versus a guy out of college,
right?
Out of high school, these guys are not used to throwing so many innings. They're not used to throwing 150 innings in a year. College guys, you're throwing 75, 80, 90 innings in a 60-game season. You're pitching every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. And if your team makes a deep run, you're pitching a lot. Paul Skeens had a lot of wear on the arm this year. And I would not be shocked if the Pirates don't let him pitch at all this year. It would not surprise me one bit. Or they could try and stretch him and see how long he can go, and hopefully they don't ruin him. I'm praying they don't ruin him because I think he's going to be a phenomenal pitcher.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is college players are just more sought after because the experience, the adversity that they've had to face in college, especially guys coming out of big schools, coming out of the SEC, coming out of the ACC, even the Pac-12, Oregon State are both good programs. USC's been okay in recent years. But going to schools with good programs where you have to battle for spots versus high school where you're already your star, right? I mean, any one of these guys, if they show up to any random high school, they're the best player on the team by far. If one of these guys showed up to my high school when I was playing high school baseball and was a center fielder, I'd be moved to left field. I'd be moved to right field. That's just the way it is. There's no competition for them. In college, there's legitimate competition. So having these guys having faced big-time competition and faced adversity, I think is what teams are looking for these days. Now, you still are going to see plenty of high school kids drafted early because teams think they can, draft and develop and take 2 to 3 years to get these guys ready for the big leagues. But we've started to see a little bit less of that in recent years.
Well, I mean, and like you said, I mean, the argument between the two of coming out of high school and not having as much wear and tear on your body, so you have that going for you in longevity of your career, but playing in college and, like in the case of a pitcher, pitching more, if you haven't been injured, or if you have been injured, you know how to come back from the injury. If you haven't been injured, you know how to pitch, a certain number of innings, a certain amount of pitches, a little bit longer. You've had more time on the mound. So it is kind of that catch that it's a back and forth conversation of what's better, to have the raw talent that hasn't had the wear and tear, or have somebody who's had the wear and tear who knows how to train their body and withstand being on the mound for a long period of time. So, it goes back and forth of who it could be, because we've seen Tommy John surgery happen younger and younger. I think it's between like 15 and 18-year-olds, or, somewhere around that region now, that while you're in high school, it's happening. I dealt with Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Skinny Atlas, New York. And, speaking with kids, young kids that were going through these injuries so early on in their career. So, I mean, I think you got to watch the wear and tear wherever you are. But yeah, if you're in college and you're in the World Series and it's LSU versus Florida, it's different than coming out. I mean, you could come out of the best high school in the country, but you're not getting that type of experience. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm a Major League Baseball front office member, I'm looking probably at college. Now, if somebody's a high school phenom and I just can't not see what they're doing, then obviously I'm going to pay attention to it. But I would look more on the side of the person that, like you were talking about, that has pitched longer, that knows what it's like to withstand it on the mound in that type of situation, and has played in these high octane games, because there's a reason why we go high school, college, pro. There's a reason why there's that succession, single A, double A, triple A, because the competition that you're going to face is supposed to get better. Now, people can argue that there might be some college teams, like maybe they just say the Florida Gators or the LSU Tigers could beat the Oakland A's right now. But, I mean, there's always going to be that argument. However, there is a reason why we have a stepladder. So, I mean, I agree with you that, yeah, I mean, if you got a guy in college, especially a pitcher, they pitched more, so you could say they're going to be in an easier route to injury because they pitched more. But you can also say the high school pitcher could also be in an easy route to get hurt because they haven't pitched in these type of situations for such a long period of time over many more years. So,
Exactly.
it goes back and forth. But I mean, I think when we look at the rest of the top 10, Wake Forest, who made the Final Four in the College World Series, Rhett Lauder, a right-handed pitcher, he got drafted 7th overall to the Cincinnati Reds.
Love that pick, by the way.
And we saw another high schooler go in the top 5 here with Walker Jenkins, outfielder from South Brunswick High School in North Carolina, Southport, North Carolina. So the Twins got him. The Oakland Athletics have the son of Jack Wilson, Jacob Wilson, shortstop out of Grand Canyon University, going 6th overall to the Oakland A's, who will be the Las Vegas A's at some point. So we'll see that come to fruition. Rounding out the top 10, the Royals took Blake Mitchell, a catcher out of Sinton High School in Texas. And then the Rockies took Chase Delander and Delander, pardon me, out of right-handed pitcher out of Tennessee. Chase coming out of Tennessee for the Rockies. And then Noble Meyer, right-handed pitcher out of Jesuit High School in Portland, Oregon, going 10th overall to the Miami Marlins. So a lot of pitching in the top 10, and there's a good amount of high schoolers as well as a good amount of the SEC. Florida, Tennessee, LSU, and Wake Forest making the top 10. And then I want to shout out right outside of the top 10, we saw FAU, who is now joining the American Athletic Conference, have a player drafted 11th overall, and Vandy had another player drafted in the first round, as we gave so much respect to Vanderbilt in the 21st century. They had Enrique Bradfield Jr., outfielder from Vanderbilt, going to the Orioles at 17th overall. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons had another player taken, Brock Wilkin, a third baseman, going to the Brewers 18th overall.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I mean, outside of the top 21, 21 overall. I'll get to the Diamondbacks in a second. I want to talk about this player from Arizona. Arizona, Chase Davis, outfielder, just outside of the top 20, going to the St. Louis Cardinals from the Arizona University. And University of Arizona, Chase Davis, outfielder, going to the Cardinals. And then later on, my Diamondbacks were able to pick up another player here for the future, which I'm excited about. Actually, earlier on, 12th, I flipped Arizona with Arizona. It's Monday morning, I'm sorry. So Tommy Troy, shortstop, I was looking him up last night, coming out of Stanford, going to the Diamondbacks, 12th overall. And then, like I said, 21st from the University of Arizona, the Cardinals getting Chase Davis, an outfielder. In the midst of all this, the Rays, the Jays, bunch of guys got involved. Who do you think could be a steal from this first round of the draft? Is there anybody
honestly
that sticks out?
Wyatt Langford. I said that. I said that before, but I think he's the biggest steal of the draft because of where they got him. Any other year, he's a number 1 overall pick. Even last year. Now, Drew Jones and Jackson Holliday were great prospects, but Wyatt Langford would have been picked number 1 over both of them. I can promise you that. But I did say when we were talking about the Reds pick, Rhett Lauder out of Wake Forest, I love that pick for the Cincinnati Reds. Now, Rhett Lauder is not your superstar ace guy.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't throw 99 with a ridiculous slider, but he throws 92 to 94 with a phenomenal changeup and gets a ton of ground balls. He's not going to strike guys out. He's not going to strike a ton of guys out. But we watched him in that deciding game of the College World Series semifinals between Wake Forest and LSU go toe-to-toe with the number 1 overall pick, Paul Skeens. There's no doubt in my mind that Rhett Lauder could be a number 2 or number 3 pitcher in somebody's rotation. And that's a valuable piece. Look at a guy like Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett's never been an ace, but he gets ground balls. He gets guys out. That's what you need. You need a guy who's going to pitch to a low ERA, get guys out. He doesn't need to strike everybody out. He just needs to get guys out any way you can. I love that pick for Cincinnati in a bandbox like Great American Ballpark. That's the type of pitcher who's going to have success there. That is the type of pitcher who will get outs, have a low ERA, because he doesn't give up a ton of fly balls. He's literally generated more than 50% more than a 50% ground ball rate this year, which is unheard of. But realistically, he is a very polished pitcher. He's got 2 elite off-speed pitches. He's got a fastball that's good enough to get by hitters. And I'm willing to bet he'll be able to add a little bit of velo when he gets to the big leagues or on his way to the big leagues. I don't think he's going to be throwing 98. I think he can get to 95, 96. But that's plenty. We've seen guys have success doing that. We've seen Zach Greinke have success at 91.
Yeah.
Heck, this year he's throwing 88. Guys can have success doing that. But I will say my biggest loser from this draft is Chase Dollander. Chase Dollander got a brutal landing spot. And this guy was one of the best pitchers in college baseball in 2022. But he goes to Colorado. Now, you can't blame the Rockies. They need pitching. But nobody pitches well in Colorado. If Rhett Lauder would have gotten to them, that would have been a decent pick. But again, I would have felt bad for Rhett Lauder. No one pitches well in Colorado, ever. So Chase Dollander, if he's going to have success, it's not going to be with the Rockies. I can promise you that.
Okay.
And I really genuinely feel bad for him having to get stuck there. But, they got to try. You can't blame the Rockies for trying to go get some pitching. You really can't. Brock Wilken to the Brewers, I think, is a solid pick. Lowered his strikeout rate a lot this year, so he hit 31 home runs this year. Was a very good player for them. Number 24, this one hurt because he went to the Braves, who I despise.
Yeah.
Hurt Waldrop out of Florida.
Yeah.
If they can get his command under control with his fastball, he's going to be a great pitcher because he's got elite off-speed stuff, but he cannot throw his fastball for a strike to save his life. It happened the entire College World Series. All postseason long. Could not throw a strike to save his life. And it was quite sad to watch. The Mets at 32, their first pick was number 32 because they went over the luxury tax, so their money got moved back. They were able to take Colin Houck, a shortstop out of high school in Georgia. He was very high on people's draft boards. He was apparently the number 12 ranked prospect on MLB.com's draft board. So value-wise, the Mets got a steal out of high school. Only problem is they need pitching to develop. They have no good pitching in their farm system. Another highlight, this was the competitive balance round. The Reds struck gold again. They picked up Ty Floyd. Ty Floyd made himself some money in that College World Series. That game 1 against the Gators when he struck out, I believe it was 18 guys in 8 innings. 18!
Yeah.
That was one of the most impressive pitching performances that I have seen in college baseball in recent memory. Watching it from start to finish, his fastball rides up in the zone. He's got that rising fastball that you talk about. Technically, it's not possible with physics, but it has that action where it doesn't drop, so it stays there, so it gives it that late life up in the zone that people think, can't be touched. He made Wyatt Langford look silly. He made Jack Caglianone look silly. He made everybody look silly. BT Riopel. It was brutal to watch, but it was also really fun to watch because this kid could be legitimately, other than Wyatt Langford, the steal of this draft. And where did he go? He went to the Cincinnati Reds, who also drafted Rhett Lauder. Give the Reds a few years with Ellie De La Cruz up in their big leagues now. Matt McLean's playing well. They got Hunter Green at the top end at the top of the rotation. Give him a couple of years because they're ahead of schedule right now.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of years for Rhett Lauder and Ty Floyd to make it to the big leagues, which I don't really think would be more than a year for these guys. Give it time. They're going to be really good. Really good. I can promise you that. Well, so that one I liked a lot. Just to kind of finish up here a little bit. Brandon Sproat, another pitcher from Florida, goes to the Mets. The Mets finally took a pitcher, and they took a college pitcher who's got really good stuff, but command has been an issue. Again, same as Hersden Waldrop. The command was an issue in the postseason. So that could throw a wrench in some things, but I'm excited to hopefully see him in a Mets uniform in the years to come. But we got the third round coming up tonight or today. You said 2:00. They're starting back the draft.
Yeah.
One last note on the draft before I throw it back to you. The draft is now 20 rounds instead of 40. The COVID year, when they went down to 5 rounds and Major League Baseball cut a lot of their minor league organizations, that really hurt some guys. And there's people I personally know that were affected by the draft being cut shorter, especially in 2020. I mean, friend of the show, Jake Schuster, one of my best friends in the world, could have easily been drafted. They were probably expecting him to go between rounds 30 and 40. So he would have been a late round pick. So there's no guarantee he would have made it anywhere.
Yeah.
But he would have at least been there. He would have been given that chance. That's the thing I miss about the 40-round draft. You're not getting these Division III guys that are getting opportunities. You're not getting these higher-end Division II guys that are getting opportunities. These guys are great baseball players, and they're not getting the same opportunities as they used to. So cutting the draft from 40 to 20, while, yes, it cleaned up some of the minor leagues, there was some pretty uncompetitive baseball being played at some levels of the minor leagues, but it was giving these guys a chance. Giving these guys a chance to make it to the big leagues. We've seen guys that were drafted late, drafted in the 62nd round back in 1988 with Mike Piazza, the Hall of Famer. Lowest draft pick to ever make it to the Hall of Fame. Literally drafted as a favor. Nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
We've got guys that were drafted in rounds in the 30s, in the late 20 rounds, that are big leaguers. I can't really think of any off the top of my head because I don't really pay attention as much to big leaguers where they were drafted, but there's guys in the big leagues that were drafted late. So they understand what that process is like. And those guys would have never been given that chance in a 20-round format. So that's my only gripe with it. I understand why they did it. It needed to be done. But I do feel for those guys that were not getting drafted now because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we look at, like you said, obviously a change in it, and 3 days that we still have of this draft. But The draft used to go on for such a long period of time, and it was almost like watching the stock market. There's just names and numbers everywhere, and it just continues to go and go and go. And we still get a bunch of prospects that are going to get out there, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And it starts again today at 2 o'clock, and then Tuesday at 2 o'clock as well, so I'll be able to watch it. Speaking of watching it in the Futures game during this All-Star weekend that's turned into more of a week with so many days involved, looking at the Futures game, every single team in every single division got to see somebody get out there. So everybody got to see their prospects involved in some way, shape, or form. And, to see that at this point, when you got these guys that are coming in and, building themselves through the minor league system and trying to find their way, to see all of these future potential stars of the game being able to play in this game that was created, right? It's one thing to say, okay, I'm in Major League Baseball, I made it to the pros, and now I'm going to be in the All-Star game, which so few people get to play in. To have this Futures game, we now get to see every team represented, which is not what we see in the All-Star game every year. To see every team represented regardless of record, regardless of where they are at the point of their franchise. We get to see who they have coming up and what could be, and these young players have an opportunity to play in an all-star style game in front of the world and at the beginning of their career, essentially, which I think is really cool. So what did you take away from the Futures?
The Futures game, first of all, is always a lot of fun. Most big leaguers, like the big stars that you see, probably played in the Futures game at some point. So, I know Marcelo Meyer hit an absolute missile off the bat yesterday at one point. He hit a 100.3 mile per hour single. That is a missile off the bat. Micah Bell looked good, the Phillies' number 2 prospect. They've been doing pretty well with their pitchers. I know Andrew Painter's been hurt, but he's a guy that they've liked a lot. It was 5-0 National League. So the AL players didn't really do all that much. The Mariners prospects didn't look great. Harry Ford didn't look great. He struggled a little. He struggled a bit, but the National League, Micah Bell started. Tink Hens came in second. Both of them looked pretty good. Micah Bell struck out 2. Mike Vasil, who was the only Mets prospect in the game, pitched a third of an inning, had a walk and a strikeout. So he looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
Tyler Soderstrom had a decent night. There was nobody on the AL side that had more than 1 hit. Marcelo Meyer did. Jackson Holliday was 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So he's a guy that we're expecting to see somewhat soon, and he didn't exactly fare all that well. But none of the guys in the American League did. The National League just has pitching. That's the great part about it. The National League pitchers all looked really, really good. So I was excited to see, like Mike Vasil, who's currently, I believe, the Mets' best pitching prospect. And he isn't really a guy that's made a ton of noise. So it was fun to get to see him a little bit. But it's a great game. Not a ton of people watch the Futures game, and it's sad because I think it's fun. I honestly think it's more fun than the MLB All-Star Game. We do see a player from every team on the MLB All-Star roster that's technically required by the rules of the CBA. So you will occasionally get someone random from a bad team that probably shouldn't be an All-Star. Brent Rooker.
Nice.
From the A's. But, yeah, and then guys get snubbed. Francisco Lindor, All-Star snub. Yeah, he's hitting 230, but he's leading shortstop. He's leading all shortstops in almost every offensive category.
Yeah.
How is he not an All-Star? Guys like Wander Franco did not get voted in originally. How was he not an All-Star? How? I didn't get that.
Well, you wonder with those two names if it's because of, like you had mentioned I think last week, could it be because of conduct and suspensions or issues and whatnot? Because both of those guys have gone through recent things where it's maybe like, oh, okay, these, we're going to punish them on top of their punishment and not have them be out there.
I mean, Wander got into some stuff with his teammates, but Lindor didn't do anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Wander is.
But that's team based. That has
Right.
nothing to do with Major League Baseball.
Right, but that's the thing is why who would do? I mean, fans vote, but would you really not want to see Wander? That's the question that comes up is why would he not be an all-star? Why?
Well, the thing is, the fan vote does kind of mess things up sometimes because occasionally the fans mess it up.
Right.
Orlando Arcia starting at shortstop. Come on.
Well,
deserving to be an all-star, sure.
Right.
Deserve to start the all-star game.
But that's the thing with when you involve outside thoughts and it's not, and again, there's times where the media gets it wrong. There's times where in the coaches' polls of college sports, they get it wrong as well. So, I mean, there's human error and there's human favoritism. And so there's things that happen in that respect as well. I do want to make mention of this before we get to anything that's coming up here in the next couple of days. The HBCU Swingman Classic happened honoring the historic black colleges and universities, which started everything off. It's the inaugural game that we got to see. And this was a game that was obviously here in, I should say in Seattle, Washington. And Ken Griffey Jr., this is important to him, obviously, and him being connected to this. The Hall of Famer said, quote, "It's all about trying to get seen." I mean, if I can give an opportunity for a kid, one kid, two kids, three kids to be seen, how many kids can that be over the next 5, 10, 15 years? How many lives will that one person change? That's all we're trying to do, end quote. So Ken Griffey Jr.'s son, Tevin, plays football at Florida A&M University, and his father, Ken Griffey Sr., was a coach. And the opening pitch we got to see was thrown by Andre Dawson, and who's a Hall of Famer, and caught by former St. Louis Cardinal and Seattle Mariner Vince Coleman. Both of them were at Florida A&M. So just supporting, showcasing, and putting a spotlight on HBCUs, which I've talked to people about over these last couple of years, that they're trying to push this movement of going there as opposed to a Power 5 school and bringing your talent there as, some of the great prospects going out and giving opportunities so that they can, if they're going to be the prospect that's highly touted around the country and they go to an HBCU, then they'll put a spotlight, not just the one that's on, they'll carry the one that's on themselves to the HBCU and help there to be a greater showcase of what the HBCU schools are doing and hopefully aid them in moving forward. We've seen the Howards of the world. I just mentioned Florida A&M. So there's places that can obviously be seen, have been seen in recent history when Georgetown's going after a prospect and a bunch of teams around the country, schools around the country, and the guy decides to go to Howard to play college basketball. So it's a positive thing. I like what Ken Griffey Jr. is doing. It's another event. It's another opportunity. It's another angle. You got the Futures game, the Celebrity Softball game, the HBCU. It's not just the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game anymore. So I do like seeing that there's these pieces, North Carolina A&T, Texas Southern, who I've covered before. So it's good to see a lot of this happening here. I covered Texas Southern's basketball team. So with that being said, before we get into what's coming up, the All-Star Celebrity softball roster, the game has been played, but it will not be shown until 3 minutes from now. Major League Baseball Network this morning, because the game was not shown live, the game is going to be shown at 10 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, Monday, July 10th. You could see Joel McHale, actor and comedian, Adam Devine, I think I said it right. It's not Devine.
I think it's Devine. I'm pretty sure it's Devine.
Is it Devine? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it's Devine. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Devine.
I've watched him a million times, but He's an actor comedian that you know from like Pitch Perfect. He's done stand-up comedy and whatnot. He's in a bunch of Netflix movies. So he's there. Skylar Aston, actor and singer. Chloe Kim, Olympic gold medalist. Jojo Siwa, singer and social media influencer. Yandel, urban music legend. Rodrigo, Real Madrid player, Christian Nadal, a Mexican singer and songwriter. Natty Natasha, global singer and songwriter. The Miz, who I remember from watching Real World. I watched Real World and saw him on there a lot. WWE superstar now. And he said on Real World he was going to be a wrestling superstar. So, put it into the world, folks. Speak it into existence. Blessed, Colombian reggaeton artist, JP Sax.
No idea who that is.
Artist and songwriter. Donovan Mitchell, NBA player. Zach LaVine, NBA star. Two NBA stars there, Donovan Mitchell and Zach. Jenny Finch, Olympic gold medalist. Natasha Watley, Olympic gold medalist. Felix Hernandez, Brett Boone, Mike Cameron, and Adam Jones, as well as Ryan Howard, all Major League Baseball All-Stars. So you're going to be able to see this. It was played Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It followed the MLB Futures game at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It'll be live streamed, the live stream was on Peacock, but not available live. It will air on the Major League Baseball Network for TV at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you had Peacock, you could see it live. And I think what happened with Peacock is when I deleted my subscription, they moved everything over to Peacock. Because I've seen a lot of things over there lately, and I'm kind of pissed off because I had it for like a year. But it's on the Major League Baseball Network this morning. So you could see it live. Now you can see it on playback on Major League Baseball's channel at 10 a.m. I'm totally for you watching it on mute in the background while you watch and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, but you're not allowed to turn us off to go watch the All-Star Game. So, so that's the All-Star Game getting replayed, and we have a couple things coming up. So what we have coming up in the schedule, there's a few more pieces here that are going to happen. And that being today, we will see the Home Run Derby. And the Home Run Derby is going to be happening for us today. And tomorrow, we will watch obviously the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So, two big things coming up, two exciting things that we're going to have here on the schedule. And really looking forward to it. Obviously, the Home Run Derby brings a lot of excitement, brings fans in that don't even typically watch baseball. They'll watch the Home Run Derby, and then we'll get to see the All-Star Game, which will be Tuesday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be on Fox, obviously the National League against the American League. And the Home Run Derby we get to see here tonight, which I'm very excited for. And we spoke about this last week. The T-Mobile Home Run Derby is going to be happening here. It's the 37th Derby since it debuted when I was born, 1985. So we have some good stuff coming up here. I'm excited about it and excited to see it. And obviously we are going to see 8 different guys come up to bat here. And last week, Brendan said this guy was going to win. Who's in my studio? Pete Alonso of the New York.
I still think that.
The New York Mets.
Yeah. But he did draw a brutal draw against the defending champ. So that is a brutal draw for Pete Alonso going up against Julio Rodriguez. So luckily he gets to hit second. So hopefully Julio maybe only puts up 20 to 22 so that Alonso can carry. What is going on with this mic today? Oh my God. Well, I can't get it to stay still.
He wants to get close to you.
Okay, I think I got it. So yeah, he drew a brutal matchup. I was actually looking at the bracket and trying to decide who I think's gonna how it's gonna go down. So obviously the top part of the bracket, you got Luis Robert as the number 1 seed against Adley Rutschman. And then Adolis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena. If I had to pick, I'm going to say Louis Robert and Randy Arozarena win those two matchups. Bottom half of the bracket, you got Pete Alonso versus Julio Rodriguez. And then Mookie Betts against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, I think Vlad's going to win that matchup because I think if we recall the last time Vlad was in the home run derby, he put on a show. Oh my goodness, what a show he put on. If there's somebody I think could win other than Pete Alonso, I think it's Vlad Guerrero Jr. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Last time he tired himself out because he had to go first every time.
Yeah.
If he has to go first every time this time, I think he's going to tire himself out again. Like, I could legitimately see him hitting 29 or 30 in round 1 and then doing it again in round 2. But if we remember, he only hit 20 in round 3 in the first one against Pete Alonso. So Pete Alonso has beaten him in the home run derby before because Vlad got himself tired. So Pete's just got to get himself on cruise control if he wants to win this thing again. I don't believe anybody's ever won the home run derby 3 times. So I believe he would be the first. He's won it twice. I believe he'd be the first, but I'm obviously going to be rooting for Pete Alonso. He's my guy. He's my hometown guy. Not necessarily one of the cards I found, but I just thought this one was cool. This guy is going to have a really good chance of winning the home run derby. That's the hope. And if you recognize that jersey, that's from the 20th anniversary game on 9/11 back in 2021 when they played the Yankees. I think the Mets and Yankees should play on 9/11 every year.
Yeah, I do.
Just alternate which stadium they play at, and they should wear these uniforms. I think they're really cool. They both wear the New York uniforms. I think they should both do that. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should do it. I mean, I obviously think, honoring 9/11 and having the two teams involved is a crucial part to this. You can watch the home run derby. By the way, folks, if you're looking up the date, time, and channel for the home run derby, as a broadcaster, I had to go to 4 different places to find it because it wasn't so right there. And the funny thing is, it's shown on ESPN, and ESPN doesn't even have it on the schedule if you go to the Major League Baseball schedule. So
that's because we hate ESPN.
So Monday, July 10th. Monday, July 10th.
Yes, I said it.
Today, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN, StatCast edition on ESPN2, also on ESPN Plus, and Fubo TV. So that's how you can watch. There's 4 different ways to watch it, and the Home Run Derby has been set. We have the brackets, the 4 brackets that we're going to see, who's going to come out of each of these 4 brackets to go to the Final Four, to go to the championship, to go up against each other. We're excited to see this tonight, and a lot of great things to come. Then we have the All-Star Game, which is coming up on Tuesday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Do you like the fact that we have Major League Baseball games, the league, involved all the way up until Sunday? They have Monday off, Tuesday is the All-Star, and then they give them a couple days off after that. We won't see any games on, Wednesday. My allergies are killing me today. Wednesday or Thursday, so they'll be back on Friday. So they get a break from Monday to Thursday, these players do, and these teams do, so that they can compete. Is it enough time to play on Sunday and then, potentially have to go compete in the Home Run Derby and then play in the All-Star Game on Tuesday? Do you think that's enough time, or do you think baseball should give them more of a one-day window? Not even a one-day. Well, no, not even a one-day window, because if you're playing a night game and you're in the Home Run Derby, you don't even have 24 hours.
So here's the thing: they don't ever play night games on the day before the All-Star Game, on the day before the Home Run Derby, before the All-Star break.
Let me see here.
Everybody's playing a day game.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's my bad.
Everybody plays a day game.
But is it enough time to have 24?
I do think it is.
Okay.
I think it's plenty of time. So these guys have basically a full day to get there, and realistically, it wouldn't be shocking if these guys went straight there. So, if you had a home game, maybe you go home first. You get a shower. You get a shower at the ballpark, but you get a change of clothes.
Yeah.
And you go to the airport and you fly to Seattle or wherever the All-Star Game is being held that year. I think it's plenty of time, honestly, because most of these guys are probably traveling first class or taking private jets. Half the teams are sending they're sending them players on their plane. So, it's not a big deal for them.
I'm just thinking about the timing for your body. You're like in the thick of it. You're past the midpoint of the season. You're going a few games over. You're into the second half of the season. You're playing on Sunday. Then some of you are trying to bang home runs on Monday, and then here's the All-Star game on Tuesday. Now, granted, if you are competing in one, or both of these things, you have an opportunity to break on Wednesday, break on Thursday, be back in action on Friday. So you get a couple days off, but it's just in the heat of everything. Is that enough time, and even just to enjoy it? Should they give them that weekend? Should they give them Saturday, Sunday, so that they could go do the home run derby on Monday, All-Star game Tuesday, have Wednesday, Thursday? So now you have a few days off between playing in the season and then competing in the home run derby and or the All-Star game. Then you get a couple days off to go back to the season. So you get a couple in the beginning, a couple at the end, instead of running right into it, competing in it, and then really only getting to rest your body for a couple days. And keep in mind, they still have to travel. So,
well, let's also remember something. There's 780 players in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Only about 70 of them go to the All-Star game.
Right, but your All-Stars, your best players are competing.
Yes.
So you don't want, you don't want to put them in a situation like some guys that don't want to be in the home run derby because they don't want to, put themselves in a situation where they could get injured or wear and tear on their body. So they say, you know what? I'm not going to do it.
The home run derby is basically batting practice.
Right. But guys
try to hit home runs in batting practice all the time. So realistically, the home run derby is just 3 or 4 rounds of batting practice on Monday before the game. Yeah, you're tiring yourself out trying to hit home runs, but you do that during batting practice. You're basically having a day full of batting practice. I don't think that's really a stretch for some guys. The guys that don't want to do it don't want to have to try and hit home runs. So there's plenty of guys in the past who've done the home run derby that end up having slow second halves because they're trying to hit home runs, which is entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I
don't think it's their swing too.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a stretch for these guys, having to compete in the home run derby because first of all, it's a choice. They're playing for $1 million to win the home run derby. And second of all, they are, again, just taking batting practice. That's all it is. And then the All-Star game, honestly, the All-Star game, I couldn't care less about the... Whoop. I could not care less about the All-Star game, to be perfectly honest with you. Will I watch it? Yeah, probably. Because, it'll be fun to see. It'd be fun if Kodai Senga gets in the game for the Mets and maybe watch the Ghost Fork in action. It'll be fun to see, the matchups between the best hitters and the best pitchers. But at the same time, the home run derby is the climax of the All-Star weekend. It just is. That's the bottom line now. Because since they took away the All-Star game deciding who hosted the World Series, it's meaningless. These guys aren't really, they're not trying. At least that's why, no one watches the Pro Bowl. That's why the NBA All-Star Game is not that fun. People watch the NBA All-Star Weekend for the dunk contest and the three-point contest. They don't watch it for the All-Star Game. It's not fun. Major League Baseball's All-Star Game is the same way. Is it a little better than those other sports? Yeah. But it's just not fun. I don't care to go watch a meaningless game now because it is meaningless. At least in the past, when it was deciding who hosted the World Series, it had some meaning.
There has to be.
So these guys wanted to win it.
There has to be an incentive, and I think
exactly.
I think with football doing away, having the skills challenge and the NFL doing away with a traditional football game because it wasn't really a football game. Now that they've kind of changed things up a little bit, it can help, but you have to make an incentive. You have to give it something to do with something, right? Where is this going to be hosted? Who's going to get, who's going to be the home of the draft? Who's going to be the home of whatever? And so the opportunity to have something connected to it, something that you're fighting for, as opposed to like, hey, let's all just go out and play a pickup game. Now, when I do think, I mean, I would rather watch the Major League Baseball All-Star Game than watch the NFL's,
whatever that is now,
Pro Bowl game, when they used to have a Pro Bowl game, because it was like touch football. But I mean, you still got to hit home runs, still got to pitch, still got to have fun. You get to be there. I think the biggest thing is the camaraderie and the connection, right? If I'm playing for the Padres and I got friends all over the league and I have an opportunity to hang with them at this, that to me is going to be really, really important. So that's what I would do it for. That's what I would have fun with. But if you ask me as a kid to now at 37 years old, what am I watching? The Home Run Derby. Why? Because I want to sit there, sipping on I don't really drink alcohol, so sipping on a non-alcoholic drink. I want to be sitting there hanging out with my snacks from Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, because shout out to their popcorn last night when I was watching some cool stuff. But I want to sit there, have my snacks, have my little tray table, sitting with Lily, drinking on something, going, holy, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see that. The Home Run Derby, to me, I used to get baseball games just so I could do the Home Run Derby. I just wanted to literally get the computer game so I could sit at my PC and try and bang home runs for an hour. So
you can do it online now. That's the fun part.
Yeah, and I'm all about it. Like,
MLB The Show does it online.
By the way, I just bought a pre-owned MLB The Show so that I can experience more of, because I've never experienced the show. I've never experienced the game. So I bought the game yesterday. Yeah.
Which one?
I bought MLB 21 with Tatis on the front of it.
Okay.
It was pre-owned. I got it for like $12. So, but I wanted to experience it and hang out with it, see what it's all about, because I have FIFA and I have NBA 2K and I've had Madden forever. So I wanted to get the baseball side of things because I used to have baseball games. So we're going to see what the show is all about. I'm going to test it out. I might test it out today prior to the Home Run Derby. Let everybody know how I did.
You should.
And then get into it. I could film that. That could be a cool show.
You should. I think it'd be fun. Screen record it.
Yeah, I could. So something to think about for later. But Murph and I going through all this. Murph, I know you got to get hopping here because it's 10:15. But GG Cards and Breaks, we promised that we would talk about some cards. We always do. So anything that you'd like to add, and then I'll add mine once you come off the air. So I want to make sure we get to you.
All right. So first of all, that show yesterday was great. It was a great time. Rookies and Rarities and Sports Factory, the Lehigh Valley, put on a great show. We dealt with rain for a while, so breakdown was in the rain, so that wasn't ideal. Had to kind of use an umbrella to cover my cards on the way out.
Yeah.
But lots of traffic to the table. Probably did $800 or so in sales, and I picked up some stuff as well. So I'll show off some of the stuff I got. As many of you know, I'm a big Florida Gator fan, so these were strictly, I'm not selling these. These were strictly I like the guy, I want the card. So we got a couple of Kyle Trask cards, all in a Florida jersey. I didn't want anything in the Bucks jersey other than these two, but I wanted Florida cards with him in the Florida jersey, which I was able to get right here.
Yeah.
So we got those. We got two Kyle Pitts cards, both with Florida jerseys. Yes. Those are pretty sweet.
The Untouchables, yes.
Yep. We got a numbered to 25 Kadarius Toney autograph with a Florida jersey. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
I
like that.
So that was the extent of the football stuff that I got. Remember, I don't really do football. So for me, I had no idea what that stuff's worth. I have no idea what that stuff's worth. I paid $30 for it. So, whatever. I don't really care.
30 total for all those?
Yeah.
That's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I picked up two autos, two rookie autos of two very good pitchers, and I was surprised how cheap they were. Okay. I genuinely was. These are future investments, but we did Aaron Nola, first Bowman Chrome. I don't know how the heck this was $30. I have no idea. And I looked it up. Recent sales were about $30, $35.
Okay.
I did not get that. And then we got Sandy Alcantara, literally the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner. Rookie auto refractor numbered to $4.99, and it was $30. I don't get that. So I'm going to put those out in my showcase the next show that I do, and Hopefully do well with that. We got a Julio Rodriguez, first Bowman refractor. That's number 2, $4.99. This is in a PSA 9. I wish it was a 10. I still got a good price on the 9. I think I could sell that for a decent profit. The grade on this next one isn't great, but the card itself is really cool, and I got a pretty good deal on it. So this is Juan Soto, 2019 Topps Tier 1 autograph.
Oh, nice.
It's in a PSA 7, which isn't great,
right?
But it's Juan Soto, and it's one of those things where, to get a number to 100 Juan Soto autograph in your hands,
yeah,
pretty darn cool. I might have to crack it out of the case in order to sell it. We'll see. But picked up a couple Ellie De La Cruz raw cards. Bowman first. These are doing some hefty money if they're in a PSA 10 right now. So I might send these off and get graded, and hopefully the Ellie hype is still there when they come back. But we did get a graded Ellie card. Showed up at my table at the last minute, and it was kind of a. And I'll also show you the card that I bought with it. So the price for these 2 cards, I couldn't refuse it for both of them.
Okay.
So we got an Ellie De La Cruz 2022 Bowman Mega Box Refractor, Purple Refractor, PSA 9, numbered to 250. So this was really, really cool. I got a good price on this, and combined with this 2021 Topps Finest, number 1 out of 5, Bryce Harper, auto.
1 out of 5, wow.
So these 2 cards were a bit of a hefty price,
yeah.
But this was the one I really wanted. So when he offered me the bulk price for these 2, I couldn't turn it down, because I think this could be a quick flip, and this one I don't think it's going to really lose any value. So I'll hold on to that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. Little Marcelo Meyer, numbered to 99. That's a cool looking card. And then I picked up another Adley Rutschman auto. This is number 10 out of 10. Mystics. This is an unlicensed card, so there's no logos on it, but
yeah,
it's a number to 10 auto. Cheaper version of the Adley Rutschman auto that I already have. I had put it out at the show. I didn't really have any takers on it, but I had bought a Anthony Volpe auto for $50 that I was able to sell for $70. So I ended up making out pretty good on that.
Yeah.
And then this one, this is not a show purchase. This was something I got off eBay before the show and put it out. Didn't really have any bites on it. Yuri Perez from the Marlins does not have any Topps or Bowman cards, which is shocking. So this was all we had. We had Leaf Metal. This is number 2 out of 5. And it's Yuri Perez for the Marlins. That's an auto. He's been great for the Marlins since he was called up. So that was one that I was thrilled to get my hands on. But that was the pickups from the show.
I got a lot of good cards. I have to show you this though. I pulled this from the Panini Chronicles from GG Cards.
Is that who I think it is?
Yes, sir. It's a rookie card for Zach Wilson. So I saved this for you. I will. I'll sell it to you for the brother price of $1.20, $1.20. I got a lot of good cards.
That's funny, though.
I got a lot of good cards, but when I'm flipping through and I saw Zach Wilson, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show Brendan.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's for you, baby.
Oh, my God.
Look at that. And I think it's in good shape. God. I think I can get a PSA 10 on this one. So
it's not worth the $20 to grade it, man.
I'm just saying.
That's the one thing I'll say.
I'm saying. In case you want it, it'll be here waiting for you. But with that being said, DT and Murphy here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Big shout out to GG Cards and Breaks, who we're proud to partner with on Wake Up Call, and we always spend some time with cards, so why not promote the place that is right here in our community on 639 Delmar Place, right off of TL Ave in Syracuse, New York. For DT and Murphy, speaking on all things Major League Baseball and the All-Star festivities, as well as the draft and sports cards. Murph, as always, I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking with you next week.
Sounds good, sir. We'll see you next week. Be sure to go check out your local LCS, your local card shop. Whether you're in Syracuse, go to GG Cards and Breaks, or if you're anywhere else, always support the local card shops.
Yes, support the locals. We need them. I've been waiting for a place like this for over a decade. Happy to have him here. Thanks, Brendan. So that coming from Brendan Murphy once again for our segment DT and Murphy, which airs for you every single Monday on Wake Up Call exclusively, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We go 9 to 10. Typically, we go over. So we give you at least, that first hour, and then we'll go from there when we can. And today we could go a few minutes over, so we did that. So happy to do that for you and be hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I promised you that I talk about what I got from GG Cards and Breaks. I had never bought a pack from them before, and I bought singles. And so I got the Panini Chronicles 2021, and I got the 2021s because, and by the way, if you have gotten cards for a long time, you saw what I just did, you smell the pack. Oh my, there's something about a pack when you open it up and you can smell the pack that it's awesome. So it's not weird for those of you that collect cards. For other people, they're like, what are you doing? Did you just smell? But yeah, so Panini Chronicles, first packs that I ever bought. I bought 2 packs from owner Josh Gideon. And when I did that, I was hoping that I could pull maybe a Trevor Lawrence rookie card. And I was able to get a lot of great rookies. So I got this Flux insert, and I actually did the pack opening on our channel, on our YouTube channel. So you can go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and check it out. I did share it on Facebook at wakeupcalldt, and I shared the YouTube feed on Twitter at calldt, and I shared the video on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. So this is Devontae Smith. It's a Flux, obviously, insert here, and it's also a rookie card. So Devontae Smith, rookie card for the Philadelphia Eagles, runners-up in the Super Bowl. Good stuff, good stuff. And then I have this one, Javonte Williams, rookie card. I covered Javonte at North Carolina. Javonte Williams hopefully coming back healthy and better than ever. And this is his rookie card from Panini Chronicles. Another great rookie here, Jamar Chase, his rookie card from Chronicles. Then I have an insert here, which is also colored, and it's a Panini Prestige insert here, rookie card for Dwayne Eskridge, who was coached by my good friend Tim Lester, who is the head coach at Western Michigan, who is now a senior analyst for the Green Bay Packers. This insert, it's a clear insert rookie Panini playoff, and it is a J.C. Horn rookie card that's clear here for the Carolina Panthers. You can see that it's see-through because you can see me. Look at that. And then I'm going to hold this one till the end. This is my favorite Steeler on the team right now, and this is a colored rookie card here, so you can see the pink hue to it. Pat Freiermuth, rookie card for the Pittsburgh Steelers, my favorite Steeler currently. And here's another Steeler rookie, and you have Najee Harris in the clear rookie card here from playoff Najee Harris, and obviously Najee put together some awesome numbers so far. I got another insert here, Gridiron Kings insert, which looks like a painting of Dwayne Eskridge. So I got 2 Dwayne Eskridge rookie cards there. And I did not get Trevor Lawrence, but I got another guy interviewed and covered in college, his teammate at Clemson and his teammate in Jacksonville. I got Travis Etienne's rookie card here. So Travis Etienne Jr., his rookie card. All of those pulled from just 2 packs at GG Cards and Breaks. I suggest you go over there and buy some packs today, save some for me, and go and get yours on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this. And coming up in just a few moments, the newest edition of the Saxons Spotlight featuring Deb Steward is coming up here, the leader of the athletic department at Alfred University for the Saxons, Associate Vice President for Student Experience, Athletics, and Recreations. Deb Steward coming up after this fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. Wet. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com. campgroundsp.com.
When you're going out of town
And
bring your
campground
dog to
spell-
Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. It's an all-new Saxons Spotlight here at Alfred University on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. I'm here with Deb Steward, the athletics director on campus, on site here at Alfred University with the Saxons. And Deb, I'm very happy to have you here.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate the partorship. Looking forward to it.
I feel like I tried to dress up, and you're better dressed than I am.
Nice.
I think you beat me out here. So I do have to get to one of the things that's been on my mind that I'm really, really excited about is in any partnership that I've done with a college or university, I've never had the opportunity to live in the equestrian world. What's that like?
Yeah, it's a fantastic addition to a sport module. They had been clubbed for a long time here on campus. So now they're under the heading of athletics. They're a competitive team. They have multiple categories in equestrian. It is a big operation. If you think about 58-ish horses that are in our barn that we have to navigate the care and care of those horses, as well as our riders. Our riders are student athletes who are committed, not unlike any other sport that we have. We have a coaching staff that is teaching and mentoring our student athletes, those riders, as well as they teach classes as well. So really robust program. Definitely different than just having a ball and a helmet in a sport. They have helmets, no ball at the time, but definitely now a care of a horse as well. So lots of different life lessons for those student athletes.
Yeah, essentially horses as student athletes in a way.
They win ribbons just as well, actually.
With almost 30 sports teams here at Alfred University,
to oversee that, what does that mean to you to have such a catalog to be able to celebrate and promote?
Yeah, I think it demonstrates the commitment of Alfred University and our leadership team to the student experience. These are sports that our students want to be involved in. These are sports that, this generation is coming in, and for generations to come, want to be, part of an athletic team. And so when we can have a diverse sport module, we're able to navigate those opportunities for students who are interested in Alfred and pursuing their passion. This athletic program is one of those passions that they may have on our campus. So really it just is robust and a great opportunity for us to make an impact on these student athletes.
And in the prior Saxons Spotlight, I spoke with President Mark Zupan about this reality that more than half of the student body coming in has a connection to the athletic department in some way, shape, or form. Just what that means to you, that as we're seeing all these new faces in this fountain of youth, as it's been called, that there's that connection, that deep root of wanting to come here, but also wanting to come here and continue their athletic careers.
Sure, I think that starts with really great relationships with our coaches, building relationships with club coaches, high school coaches, to be able to get out and recruit. Our coaches travel all across the country. We have international students, so obviously technology plays a part in those recruiting opportunities. But really, that dedication of our coaches to really promote Alfred University and the opportunities that those students will have here, again, to pursue their passion, whatever that academic passion, maybe they're exploring that passion, as well as being able to compete in their field and court and in the water and whatever they so choose. And so, that partnership is key for the success of that recruiting process.
Why are you here? Why do you want to lead Alfred University?
Yeah, that's a great question, considering I came out of retirement. So I was retired for a year and came back. I had the privilege to really, be retired a little younger than retirement age. And so I chose to come back here, to come to this place in particular, because of the leadership and the values of our leadership team. President Zupan leading the charge. These are people that are committed to the student experience, willing to invest in that student experience. And then, as I did my research on our staff and began my tenure here, to know that we have such dedicated coaching staff, support personnel who just want nothing more than these student athletes to succeed.
And you said you came out of retirement, obviously, to do this. So my mother retired, also Deb, retired for about 15 minutes. So what was it about? Did you get anything out of retirement for a little while? Or?
Absolutely. I highly recommend a timeout for any administrator or leader, when you can step back, really rest, recharge, reflect. I had the opportunity to travel some, to just step away from the chaos and pressure, and to really set my course for the future. It's really recharged me. I've come back with great passion, great excitement for being a Saxon and leading the department through the next phase of Saxon athletics.
Why should somebody come to Alfred University?
It's a place that cares deeply about the people, deeply about our students. We will mentor and help point them in a direction, nudge them along the way, push them out of their comfort zone so that they can grow, so that, again, they can pursue that passion. Whatever that happens to be. Hopefully they've got a great passion for their athletic pursuits, but also we want them to help them teach life lessons through our sport and help them pursue that passion so that they can pursue their careers.
I'm a Division III kid, so D3 has a very special place in my heart. How would you describe it? And I don't want to load the question, but to include that there's something about, they say that Division III still has purity. in a way. And I'd love for you to give your thoughts on D3.
Yeah, our students are playing for the love of the game. There's no scholarship associated with that. We are teaching life lessons through sport. That is it sounds very simple, and that's what it is. It is not about wins and losses. It's about process. Are we doing the process correctly? Are we teaching life lessons correctly? Those outcomes will take care of themselves if we do all of those correctly. And so, what we want to do is, bring these young students into our family. Really help them along the way and send them out in the world with great skills so that they can, really help advance our world and be great citizens in our world.
And a final note, to you being a Saxon means what?
It means being dedicated, resilient, having grit, being a dedicated teammate, being loyal, being all in to Alfred.
Appreciated that coming from our athletics director, Deb Steward. Deb, appreciate it so very much.
Thanks.
And very, very much looking forward to the opportunity of working with you and all of your sports teams, because this is a new world for me, an expanded world. It's kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe may have nothing on you, because there's a lot of heroes out here, so I'm excited for this.
Teamwork makes the dream work right here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. They can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, where sports truly
meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning. It is raining like a mother here in central New York, so wherever you are, I hope you're staying dry wherever you may be. So happy Monday. Happy to be here with you. You just heard from the Alfred University Saxons, and I want to give a big shout out to the Saxons and much love. A care package came through for Mark Daines and the team over at Alfred University, and we got some fantastic stuff that I'm going to be showcasing here in the studio this week. So much love and a big time shout out to the hospitality from Alfred University and those Saxons. So appreciate it very much in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. You just heard from Associate Vice President for Student Experience, Athletics and Recreation, Deb Steward, who is a pleasure to have here on the show, and always appreciate the opportunities to speak with Alfred University as we're going to continue to roll these out every single week, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So what we're doing is it's a switch off. So as you've come to know, Lemoyne, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Dolphin time. Mondays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time is going to be your Saxon time, your Saxon Spotlight. And so with that being said, every other Monday from at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, every other Monday, you're going to have the Presidential Perspective, where I have the opportunity to speak with Mark Zupan, the president of Alfred University, on topics all throughout the year on a bunch of different things. And then on the opposite weeks of Presidential Perspective, we're going to have the Saxon Spotlight continuation. So that Saxon Spotlight will continue to roll here with student athletes, administration, as well as coaches and so on and so forth from Alfred University. So a lot of great stuff coming up as we've just started doing this. We had our first opportunity to feature anyone when we featured Mark Zupan, the president, and then you just saw our second feature ever with Alfred University in the Saxon Spotlight with Associate Vice President for Student Experience, Athletics and Recreation, Deb Steward. And so next week will be to the Presidential Perspective, and we'll have the opportunity to speak with Mark Zupan on a new topic. And then from there, the first head coach we're ever going to feature on our Saxon Spotlight will be Bob Rankle, who's going into his 25th season, and very excited to have him from the football program as their head coach. So a lot of good stuff coming up here from Alfred University. You can see everything that we've done with Alfred University by going to the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com, and you can see our press release, and you can read it there on the gosaxons.com website. You can also see my video of the introduction and breaking the news that we have signed an exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Alfred University, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. You could see the first inaugural, that first ever video, the inaugural video, which we did with Mark Zupan, the president. And of course, if you continue to scroll down, you can see all of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnerships with colleges and universities, and you can click on the Alfred University button, which will take you to our Alfred U page where we will continue to add these specials. So the one you just saw with Deb will be available by itself on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt right after the show this morning, and it'll also be added to our website on wakeupcalldt.com. So a lot of great stuff coming up, and definitely appreciate the Saxons, and so happy and so proud to be linked up with Alfred University and the Saxons and their 28 sports programs, their students, their student athletes, administration, coaches, and so on and so forth, and the history, the alumni, and those that are to come at Alfred University. So a lot of wonderful things that are going to be featured, and Deb Steward being the newest feature that we were able to bring you. And she's been a pleasure to talk to and get to know and spend time with. You know, I loved that, you know, going up to Alfred University, I had the opportunity to speak with her during the event, and then after the event, we spent like an hour just talking about a lot of different topics and a lot of different things, and just getting to know her. And you know, anybody who's a leader of anything, including an athletic department with almost 30 programs, you know, to spend an extra 5 minutes would be special. You know, she spent about an hour that day just talking through things, and ideas and different things that we could do, and just letting me know some background on Alfred University and the people there, and just spreading a lot of positivity and getting me even more excited about a partnership that I was really ecstatic to start. So I want to thank Deb for not only her time on the show, but her time beyond that, because I know that, time is a gift that you give people that you can never get back. So how you spend it and where you spend it and who you spend it with is incredibly important. And so I value very much so the time that Deb Steward has spent with me, as well as Mark Zupan, Mark Daines, Boz, and the coaches that came out to the event and everything. So thank you so much for what you've done, and I definitely appreciate everything that we've already been able to share, and everything that's going to be coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So with that being said, we'll take our final step aside for today's broadcast, and we'll wrap up the show right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So happy to be here with you and spend some time and just always looking forward to our week. We got to talk about so many great things here this morning with DT and Murphy, talking with Brendan, who joins me every single Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time minimum. And we have the opportunity to do DT and Murphy on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, speaking on the HBCU Swingman Classic, which is the first ever. And I want to thank Ken Griffey Jr. for putting a spotlight on HBCUs, and I want to thank everybody that got involved, because I think it's a wonderful thing. Futures game, we got to speak on that. The MLB Draft, the celebrity softball game, which is airing right now on the Major League Baseball Network, and the Home Run Derby, which is tonight on ESPN, and ESPN2 has a different telecast, but it's on both. And that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, so 5 o'clock on the West Coast for those of you out in Seattle. But the Home Run Derby going to be here for us tonight, which I'm really excited to watch. And, of course, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game will be Tuesday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. So great stuff coming up. And really looking forward to what we have here on the baseball side of things. Like I said, I just bought MLB The Show. Never bought The Show video game before. I got the 2021 version. I got it for like $12. So shout out GameStop. As long as this game works, we're good. So, but I'm excited to test it out and see what it's all about, because I want to get into it, right? I want to I like to unpack, and have some fun with this stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to it and having some fun with it. So yeah, it'll be exciting to do this for sure. And I'm looking at this right now, trying to check this out to make sure that we have what we need here. Okay, so the home run derby, I believe, is going to be on here. Yeah, so one of the coolest modes in MLB The Show 21 is home run derby, a single player and local multiplayer option, which you compete with other players to win the home run derby competition. So MLB The Show 21 does have the home run derby, which I didn't know when I bought it. So now I have the opportunity to do that. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to air it. So just stay tuned to our Wake Up Call channels. We're on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. I might live stream it from there. But, and obviously on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and the audio you're hearing on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. If you want to hang out with us on any one of these outlets, all you have to do to make it really easy for yourself is to go to wakeupcalldt.com, which is our website. And when you go to wakeupcalldt.com, you'll be able to pick up all of our feeds all there on the homepage. So you can click on the Facebook logo, you can click on the YouTube logo, or you can click on the Podbean feed, and the show will play right there. If it's the Podbean feed, it'll play right on the site. If you click on Facebook or YouTube, it'll open up the page, and then you'll be able to watch, and you'll be able to listen there, which is really cool. So make sure that you do that. Make sure that you give an opportunity to check it out and see what it's all about, because I'd love for you to tune in and to watch and listen. So definitely do that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Go to any one of our channels directly, wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, or youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and you can catch us live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once we go live, we jump to the archives: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. MixLR, where we still have some of our shows set up as well. Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify. Stitcher is going to be ending its app, which is sad to see it go. It's going to be ending in August, but we're still on Stitcher all the way through. So I keep the logo up, because if you want to go to Stitcher and you listen to Wake Up Call on Stitcher Radio, go to your app and make sure you download your shows. I think there's also an opportunity for them to help you find your shows on other outlets, or to be able to save your playlist so you could find it elsewhere. So if you're on Stitcher now through August, before they close up shop there with Stitcher, make sure you connect with us on there so that you can continue to listen through July, and then download, like I said, through Stitcher our broadcasts. Keep your favorite ones so that you don't miss a beat. And then, of course, we're on TuneIn and YouTube, Boomplay, Podchaser. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, to find us on any one of those outlets. Big shout out to our big old family here of incredible partners: Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, as well as Great Lakes Honda City, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the restaurant is the name of the location. 5-star Michelin restaurant, in my opinion. Their food is incredible, and it takes from all different cultures and themes, which I really like. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. The sports card place that you remember as a kid and that you can celebrate as an adult. Mother's Cupboard, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Watertown, and I think I said PB&J's Lunchbox, but I'll say it again because their food's fantastic. Pizza Man, as well as being the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call, hanging out with the Dolphins with our Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time being Dolphin time every week. Set it and keep it. First and third Wednesday of each month, AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we jump into the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, and future Dolphins. So make sure that you're here with us, tuning in for all of those wonderful stories. You can catch our AD and DT as well as Dolphin Dive archive by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, bookmarking it and saving it. It's our Lemoyne page inside of wakeupcalldt.com. You can also catch the Dolphins on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt by clicking subscribe. For more information on your Dolphins, go to lemoynedolphins.com. Check our social media as we continue to air these shows and take them out of our vaults of our archive of Lemoyne Dolphin content and share them with you on our social media. So make sure you go to lemoynedolphins.com, go to our social media, and of course, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse coming to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with those Bobcats. You can check out the Bobcats every single month on Wake Up Call with student athletes, coaches, and administration joining us throughout the year in roundtable and panel discussions. We're going to be doing a nostalgic board game challenge, which came out of an idea that I had live on air with Brian Yurton, the esports head coach for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. We were discussing esports, and then he talked about how he calls them humblers, and he has board games in his office that are supposed to humble his team that's used to playing, obviously, video games and, playing on a television and with a controller. And so he has humblers, which are these board games. And then I said, hey, we should do a board game challenge at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. So we're getting all the head coaches involved from all of the teams, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, esports, and baseball will join me in board game challenges that we're going to be airing this week for the Bobcat Buzz. A totally unique thing I've never done in over 19 years of being a broadcaster is that we will have video footage of myself and an entire coaching department playing board games, and I love that Brian calls them humblers. So we'll be humbled this week, and you'll be able to watch it in the newest Bobcat Buzz episode, which I think could go viral, seeing us play these board games. We're going to be choosing between games like Candyland and Clue and Gestures and Monopoly, games like that. So we're going to have some fun with that. I'm excited to see what games we pick and see what comes out of them on the Bobcat Buzz. You can check out our Bobcat Buzz archive by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com, subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and searching Bobcat Buzz, of course, doing that as well. And of course, you could find more information on the Bobcats by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcats. The Alfred University Saxons are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, bringing you the Saxons Spotlight every single Monday on Wake Up Call exclusively at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Rounding out the show for you are Alfred University Saxons. We've had the opportunity to feature so many great things, and starting this coming week, we're going to have next Monday the first presidential perspective. So we did have Mark Zupan, the president of Alfred University, as the first ever guest on the show in connection with the Saxons, but it was our Saxons Spotlight kind of special. So now we're breaking out into this presidential perspective, which will be on every other week with the Saxons Spotlight on the weeks that we don't see presidential perspective, which I'm really excited about this and the opportunity to have this every single Monday, presidential perspective and the Saxon Spotlight switching every single month. And so you'll get to see them bi-weekly. The presidential perspective will start next week on Monday, you just saw an all-new Saxons Spotlight with Deb Steward, the Associate Vice President for Student Experience, Athletics, and Recreation at Alfred University. You can check out all of our Alfred University content on the Alfred U tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can subscribe to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for all of our Saxon content. And, of course, you can go to gosaxons.com for more information on all of the programs at Alfred University. And, as always, go Saxons. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank Brendan Murphy and Deb Steward for being fantastic guests on today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Please stay dry. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. We have a bunch of exclusives, a bunch of awesome content, really cool things. Our American Athletic Conference New Era Spotlight continues this week, which I'm ecstatic about that. So we're going to have some great things coming up with that. Papa Joe returns to the show. The Ingredients to Success presented by Avocoles every Tuesday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So that'll obviously be back with you. We'll have the opportunity to feature some new faces, which I'm really excited about. And we will, of course, have the Annoying Moment of the Week presented by Carvel DeWitt. LEAD, which is the acronym for Learn, Evolve, Adlib, and Deliver, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. We'll get into our Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by the fantastic people at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding for short and long-term care for your furry-loving friends at East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street by BJ's Wholesale Club. So a lot of fantastic stuff coming up this week. Cannot wait to feature it all. And we're also going to have another Syracuse recruiting spotlight for the football program. So do not miss a moment of Wake Up Call this week or any week. And can't wait to hang out with you. So make sure you're with us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, like I said, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call_DT. We also added on our website, we added the web store link for you to buy all of our products from Wake Up Call, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, as well as Superpowered Pop, Do Diz with Dan, and Comic Book Trails. So you can go to wakeupcalldt.com and you'll see the list of pages across the top. If you go to the end where there's more, you can go right there and check the link to the web store, and you can buy right from wakeupcalldt.com. Get our products now, so make sure you do that. We just added that over the weekend, and we added some cool things to the 317 at Montgomery page, which you can find by going to the Central New York tab and clicking on 317 at Montgomery Street. So make sure you do that to check out our videos and easy ways to get their hours, as well as to call for reservations and check out their website. So awesome stuff coming up. GG Cards and Breaks, thank you for your connection to our conversation with DT and Murphy today. Head over to GG Cards and Breaks every Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. You can, of course, hang out with them where sports meets life, and make sure you get over there to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse. Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays from 10 to 5. And, of course, I want to give a big-time shout-out to all of you for watching, for listening, and making us a part of your morning, for being good to us and showing us love. I cannot appreciate all of the follows, the subscriptions, and all your listenership, your viewership, your readership. Means a lot to me. Thank you to Lemoyne, as well as Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse and Alfred University for allowing me the opportunity to be your exclusive multimedia marketing partner, the first partner of its kind at Lemoyne College, at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, and at Alfred University. So they've never had a partner like this. I'm grateful that you have allowed me the opportunity to make history together, and we've only just begun. As Lemoyne and I get ready for year 3, Bryan and Stratton and Syracuse and I are in year 2, and Alfred University and I have just started year 1. I cannot wait for all the history we're going to make at all 3, as well as with all of our incredible partners. You can check out on that Central New York tab, if you go to wakeupcalldt.com and put your cursor over the Central New York tab, the drop-down menu allows you to click on any one of our partners that you want to check out. but you can also click directly on the Central New York tab, and it'll bring you to all of our partners, and you can click on each of them individually, just like you can on the homepage, to go to their websites and social media. So make sure you do that as well. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the Home Run Derby. I might be live streaming my Home Run Derby after I practice it a little bit here, and look forward to talking with you all soon. So God bless. No stress. Do your best. Have a terrific Monday. And I mean, here on Wake Up Call and in general, I don't have a case of the Mondays, because Monday's a day of the week. It's a day that God wakes me up. So last time I checked, as long as I'm waking up, it's a good day. So I don't see Mondays in a bad way. I see them in an amazing way. Enjoy your Monday. Have fun doing whatever you're doing. Be good to each other and be good to yourself. We'll talk soon. Be well. God bless.